I'm on a mission to beat 100 video games every year, and this is every game I beat in January ranked just by how happy it made me. At number 8, we've got Those Who Remain, an indie horror game that was interesting. It felt like it was made by somebody who really understood horror, but didn't have the technical proficiency or maybe the budget or both to really actually get it there. At number 7, I've got another horror indie game called Stories Untold. This one I liked quite a bit better than the last game. The first episode was incredible. The second episode was good. The third was meh, and I thought the fourth one was actually kind of bad. Number 6 is Ghostwire Tokyo. I've been wanting to play this one for a while, and the open world is really interesting. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. The only problem was that the combat was really repetitive after a while. It got old really fast, and so things got a little bit boring, and I was just ready to get through it by the end. Number 5 is Deliver Us Mars. I liked Deliver Us the Moon, which came out a few years ago, but I didn't think it was great. I think Deliver Us Mars is great. It's got a much better story, the gameplay is a lot more interesting, but don't play it without playing the first one first. If you don't play the first one before this one, you're going to be absolutely lost when it comes to the story. Number 4 is Ratchet & Clank, the original 2002 PS2 game. I couldn't believe how modern this game actually felt. It was way ahead of its time, it had to have been. The camera and controls were very smooth, the combat was awesome, the weapon variety was insane. This game holds up incredibly well, and now I'm excited to play through all of them. Number 3 is Doom Eternal. I was really surprised to see how different this one was from the 2016 game. A lot of that had to do with the art style. It was actually a little off-putting at first because it felt more arcadey, more cartoony. It wasn't until I was almost halfway through the game that I realized the reason they were doing that was to make it look more like the original Doom games. And looking at it through that lens, I get it, and it seems a lot cooler. Number 2 is Tales of Iron Whiskers of Winter. This is the only launch game I played this month, and I loved how brutally difficult the first Tales of Iron game is. This one is awesome too, but it's not quite as good as the first one in my opinion. In the first game, the bosses get incrementally harder as you go, which is I think the way to do it. But in this one, it was like the first boss was super hard, and then there were like 2 or 3 bosses that were super easy, and then another really hard. It was a lot of that, so it's a little inconsistent, but it was still awesome. And number 1 is Ender Lilies Quietus of the Nights. This is a game I've been wanting to play forever, but I finally got around to it because the sequel just came out, and I was blown away by this game. If you're a fan of Metroidvanias like Hollow Knight, you absolutely have to play this game. In fact, I almost liked it more than Hollow Knight, which I know sounds crazy. I eventually decided I liked Hollow Knight just a little bit more because there's more boss variety and a little bit more world variety, but the actual boss fights in this game, even though they're not quite as numerous, I think they're better. The bosses are incredible, the art style is amazing, the sound design is incredible. Pretty much everything about this game is amazing. If you're a Metroidvania fan, this is a must play. So that's every game I beat in January, and it brings us to a total of 8 games beaten so far in 2025. If you like this kind of content, I make review and ranking videos almost every day, so feel free to follow if you want to come on this journey with me. This is year number 6, so we've been doing it for a while, and I can't wait to do it again.